Welcome to the weekly current affairs class. Today's topic will be dealt from society and security. Our first topic will be the draft disability policy. Government has recently announced the draft national policy on disabled persons. It was released by the Department of Empowerment with respect to persons of disability. The aim of this policy is to build an inclusive society as well as empower the disabled individuals so that they can lead a dignified life that will protect their Article 21 of the Constitution as well. We will see here, this is the basic vision of the policy to build an inclusive society with equal opportunities, provide for the growth and development of the persons so they can lead a productive, safe and dignified life. This is the basic vision of the policy or the basic aim of the policy. We will be dealing with the features of the policy here as well as what are the issues that are faced by the disabled and how to write a conclusion with respect to these type of questions in mains. What are the basic features of this policy? First one is that what is the feature of this policy is prevention and early identification of disabilities. Government intends to adopt an preventive approach so that the disabilities that are faced by the individuals, they can be diagnosed at an early stage. Government intends to start a comprehensive program for this. This is the first feature. Second major issue that government wants to rectify is the with respect to certification of the disability. There is already a ongoing project with respect to this, that is unique disability identity. What government intends to do is, earlier the disabled individuals, to get the benefit of social security or to be included in the schemes, they have to show a certificate of disability. They had to physically roam from government office to office where there was red tape and corruption as well. So what the government intends to do is, government under this project, unique disability identity project, government aims to provide for a online certification of disabled, so that online certification can be provided to the individuals and all the physical hassle that they have to go through can be prevented. Next one is with respect to education. We already know that if you want to promote social development in a society, the basic cornerstone for that is the education. Education is the keystone with which you can empower the marginalized communities in the society. Government what intends to do is, it aims to align the Right to Education Act with the Right of Persons with the Disability Act 2016, so that the individuals or the children basically who are disabled, they can get the benefit of education under the Right to Education Act 2009, and they can be empowered and become independent in society so that they are not dependent on anybody else. Next benefit is with respect to health. You must be aware that the disabled, that the problems that are faced by them or the disabilities that are faced by them, they are very particular and specified. So there are very little hospitals in the country that provide for the treatment of those disabilities. They are basically super specialty hospitals, one in the state or one in the district basically. So what is happening is that they are not having access to these kinds of hospitals, and the treatment that is provided by the super specialty hospitals is very cost expensive, which pushes these disabled individuals into the poverty. So the government intends to make that treatment affordable. So what the government intends to do with the health feature is that it intends to make those treatment accessible in the country as well as make the treatment cost effective or affordable. So what are the points that we have witnessed there is, one is the preventive approach with respect to disability. Second is with respect to the certification online. Next one is alignment of Right to Education Act with the Disability Act 2016, and last one is with respect to health, to make them accessible as well as affordable. Moving on to the next feature. Next feature is with respect to the skill development and employment. See, the individuals or the adult disabled, Those who are facing employability issues, those who are not having any job, we know that basically society is going through a rapid transition in terms of technology. New technologies are emerging and old skill set is becoming obsolete. Because of their disability, already they are having the issues with respect to the hiring by the corporates or hiring by the private sector. So government intends to promote skill development and employment. For this, a dedicated national level employment portal will be developed or launched by the government, so that the individuals can be skilled as well as easily employed, so they can become financially independent. And the last one is with respect to the sports culture and recreation. Government also intends to set up a dedicated sports center in each zone. We have already seen in the Paralympics the laurels that are brought by the disabled athletes. So the government intends to work on this also, and it is also a feature of this policy. Moving on towards from the features, we will be covering the what are the issues in general that are faced by the disabled. See, with respect to the any any group or community from the marginalized section of the society, what you have to just do is you have to bring a syllabus in front of you. For example, this is social belongs to GS1, politics and governance belongs to GS2, this is GS3, and this is GS1 and as well as 2 is there. So what are the issues? For example, first thing that comes to mind is social. What are the social issues that are faced by the disabled individuals? First is among them is discrimination. Discrimination against at schools, at their workplace, at the society, in their neighborhood, by the friends. Discrimination is promoted, and what is its manifestation? It is generally in the manner of name calling. The stereotypes that are developed against the disabled individuals. Or discrimination can happen at the education place. How? The educational institutions, they are not very ready to admit the disabled children in their schools because of the cost that they have to incur, because of the infrastructural modifications that they have to go through. Ramp building is there, or the separate toilet facilities are there. Okay, these are the in general social issues that are faced by them. Discrimination is there, name calling is there, or in the education sphere is there. Next is the political aspect. See, first of all is the representation issue. How many individuals we see who are disabled that basically are MPs or MLAs? You will see that there is a negligible representation of disabled individuals as MPs in the parliament and as MLAs in the state legislatures. So when the representation is not there, what will happen is that the raising of the issues, that they will face difficulties. What are the specific issues or what are the specific problems that are faced by the disabled individuals? They will not be able to do that. This is the second point. Third point, governance, exclusion in schemes and social security. See, because of I have already told you that first hassle is the certification, that disabled certificate that they have to get. Next one, because of that, if they are not able to get that, they are basically excluded from the scheme. Next one is the social security. Government has launched very few projects for the social security benefits of the disabled, and those that are working also, basically they cover very little benefits. Very meager amount or petty amount is paid to the disabled individuals, that is not in sync with the inflation rate of the country, and they are not able to afford the basic lifestyle also. So this is another issue that is faced by them. And health is the one that we have already covered, that there is a issue with respect to accessibility and affordability of the health care. So moving on, these are the issues that this is how you can categorize the issues in the subheadings. It also gives a organized view to your question, answer in the mains. Next one is the conclusion. What you can mention is that government is signatory to the United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities. Government has launched the Right of Persons with the Disability Act. Incheon strategy is there for the disabled. Okay, you can mention these things in your conclusion of the answers. Or you can also mention, if the question is asked in a way, that what are the government initiatives that are taken by the government for the empowerment of the disabled individuals. These are the things that you can mention. Okay, or in conclusion you can mention that basically there is already act in enforcement, right of persons with disability act 2016. The loopholes in this act should be eliminated and the act should be strengthened so that they can lead a truly dignified life. Okay, so this is all that was there with respect to the draft disability policies, or in general what are the issues that are faced by them, or how you should deal with the conclusion with respect to these type of questions. Moving on to next issue, you must have seen in the last week that the global gender gap index was launched. First of all, this is very much important for your prelims. The rank that India got, it was 135 out of 146. Okay, and it is launched by the World Economic Forum. This thing can be asked in your prelims exam as well, that basically who launches or who publishes the global gender gap index. What is the framework or what is the methodology with respect to the publishing of this index? What are the things that are considered to assign a rank to a particular company? See, three things are there. One is the economic participation. Okay, how much the female labor participation rate is there. Okay, how much of them are in the leadership position, like that. Educational attainment, what is the literacy rate of the women in the particular country. Next is the health and survival rate, like what is the maternal mortality rate, what is the reproductive health statistics. Okay, what is the data with respect to the early marriage, these type of things. Okay, now how to cover this type of topic in mains? Obviously you can quote this data in the introduction of your question or in the conclusion of your answer. So but how if the question is asked that what should the government do to fill the gender gap in the society? We will be dealing with that also. See, there are dimensions with respect to it. We will go through the same approach that we went through in our last topic of disability. Always sub-categorize the things according to your GS syllabus. For example, economy is there. This is a GS part 3. So what are the economic dimensions? Work participation, how much is the female labor force participation rate? If the women folk of the country are starting some new business, is there access to finance? Are they having the credit facilities, or the government has launched some specific beneficial program for them so that they can start their own ventures, they can become more entrepreneurial? Next one, how many of the women are in the leadership position? How many of the women are the CEOs of the company? How many of them are the managers of the company? This thing will depict the, are women able to break the glass ceiling, okay, in the corporate sectors or in the public sectors? This thing basically will define it. Or the patriarchal structure still exist in the society. This will be an economic dimension to it. Next one is the political dimension, that is with respect to representation. Obviously, what is the total percentage of women that are MPs or that are MLAs, so that they have their adequate representation at the national level also and at the state level also. When particular community will have a adequate representation, then it is only that they will be able to effectively raise their issues and demands. Okay, you can also quote an example here with respect to, like last year with respect to Nagaland, the news was there that despite having 97-98% literacy in the state, they do not have a single basically female MLA. Okay, that you can quote. Next is with respect to reservation of seats. You can quote here that Women Reservation Bill 2008 that aims to provide for reservation at the national level and at the state level is still pending in the parliament. That can be quoted. Okay, that will depict basically how women are truly empowered in the society. Next one is with respect to civil and political rights. For example, freedom of speech. You can always give here the example of the social media, that despite this having rights covered under the fundamental rights of the constitution, women, specifically those who are elected as the MPs or MLAs from a particular party, or even those who are heading the political parties, they have to face abusive trolling, misinformation, okay, and sexist abuse regarding them on the social media. You can quote that will depict the basically level of civil and political rights that are enjoyed by the women in the political space. Moving forward, now coming to the health issue, social perspective, what you can talk about here, right to divorce, for example, that if any woman is not comfortable within a marriage, okay, whether she is able to take a divorce or does she have to bow to the pressure of her in-laws, her family or society, that if she fears that she will be stereotyped against. Okay, next one, reproductive autonomy, whether she is able to take the decisions with respect to her reproductive health by herself, okay, or her husband takes that decision, you can quote that. Early marriage, okay, whether they are given the opportunity to study, to complete their studies, to make their careers. Data with respect to maternal mortality rate, total fertility rate, these are the things. Okay, we have seen how you can go for these dimensions to highlight the issues. You can also go for these dimensions to highlight that what are the steps that should be taken by the government. Okay, for example, in economic aspect is there. What should government do to increase the female labor force participation rate? What should government do to increase the access and credit and finance facilities? For example, social aspect is there. Okay, what should government do to prevent the what we say early marriages? What should government do to promote the reproductive health autonomy? Okay, these are also the dimensions that you can do to promote the measures as well. This is how you will cover this topic in mains, and obviously the data, that the ranking that is given, you can use it in the introduction part or it in the conclusion part of your answers. This is all that is there with respect to this topic. Now we will be moving to our next topic, that is Central Armed Police Force CAPF. 2 days back there was an article in the Hindu newspaper that there are children of lesser god, basically highlighting the issues that are being faced by the CAPF. Okay, so first of all, what is CAPF or what does it include? The CAPF includes basically CAPF includes BSF, Industrial Security Forces there, Reserve Police Forces there, or ITBP is there, Indo-Tibetan Border Police is there, SSB is there. Okay, these are the things basically that are included in the CAPF. It is different from the Army and Navy. Obviously that comes under the Ministry of Defence, but these comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and they are headed by the IPS officers of the country. Okay, so first of all, what does the CAPF include? It includes BSF, CISF, ITBP, all these security forces, and they come under the, this can also come in your prelims also, Ministry of Home Affairs, and they are headed by the IPS officers of the country. So what are the issues that are being faced by them? See, first of all, you will constantly see two news in the newspapers with respect to the CAPF. First one is with respect to the high suicide rate that is going on. You will see the news that basically some soldier shot himself on the border and his colleague on the border. Okay, or you will see that there is some tussle between the IPS officers that is heading that force and the direct recruits or the senior officers of the CAPF itself. Okay, so we will highlight also these in the issues that are there. First of all is with respect to the high workload, which leads to high pressure and frustration. Okay, due to high workload, we can also say that basically these are the things that why suicide happens in the armed police forces. Okay, high pressure and frustration. What is the another reason for frustration besides the very high workload? It is that there is a lack of reward and compensation, which reduces the morale of the soldiers. Okay, this is an issue that is faced by the CPF, that basically the rewards that are given to the armed army personnel, okay, they are not extended to the armed police forces, and a compensation is also delayed. Third one, as I have already stated, there is a friction between the IPF and CAPF direct recruits, which hampers the coordination as well as the efficiency of the organization. Okay, because already I have told you that these are headed by the IPS officers, and you must be knowing that UPSC conducts a paper with respect to CAPF where direct entry as an assistant commandant is there in these forces. So because of this, because the opportunity, it is said that the opportunity to head these armed police forces is not given to the direct recruits of the CAPF, unless rather it is given to the IPS officers of the country. So there is sometimes a issue or friction between them which hampers the coordination as well as the efficiency of the organization. Next one, infrastructural deficiencies. See, infrastructure issues, obsolete arms, ammunition, blanket, bulletproof jackets are there that are not being extended. The areas where they are saying in the cantonments, they are not properly basically covered with the basic infrastructure facilities. That also creates the problem for CAPF. Okay, for example, there is a lack of medical facilities in these areas where the CAPF is stationed. Okay, that further exaggerates the issues that are being faced by them. And last of all is that is inadequate promotional opportunities. I have already highlighted that the direct recruits of the CAPF, they do not get to head the armed police forces, and even the individuals that gain entry at lower level, they are also not promoted to the higher levels of the organization. So in nutshell, what are the issues that are faced by them? Very high workload, lack of reward and compensation, infrastructural facilities with respect to medical facilities, arms, ammunitions, okay, lack of their friction between the IPS and CAPF direct recruits, hampering the efficiency of the organizations, and last one is the lack of promotional opportunities in the armed police forces. So this is all that is there with respect to the security topic. Okay, these are the three issues that were there with respect to security and society. Now we will be coming to the mains topic. The question here is highlight the features of the new draft national policy on disability. On is missing here. You can add here. On disability, in what ways the policy is disconnected from the reality? Comment. You have to write the answer in 250 words. Submit your answer at, you already know, rajisacademy.com. The video with respect to this question will be uploaded on Monday at 9. So this is all from my side. Thank you so much. All the best for your future endeavors.